Joining us on the Kyvan Foods guest line is one of our all-time favorite guests, Rocky Bleier. As everyone knows, Rock is a Steelers legend, and he has the 4 Super Bowl rings to prove it. He is perhaps the best storyteller on the planet, and it's always a thrill for us to welcome him back onto the show. Rock, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, what a great lead-in. Thank you, because I know I am a legend in my own mind. I'm better than I ever was before, unlike Mike Wallace. But so I caught your dialogue. Mike Wallace, but you're true. But he's a millennial. Oh, do we blame them for their age? You know, is he a selfie? Is that what it is? Or he's
wow, a selfie! You pulling out the young folks lingo here with a selfie.
Pretty good for an old guy, huh? See?
Yeah,
that's right. So, yeah, and here it is that, you know, Mike Tomlin obviously, you know, dominates the news, especially here during this week as they prepare for the Dolphins coming in. You know, and I'm saying this. Okay, listen, for a mere $50,000, I'll take the job to keep you on the sideline.
You'll be the get-back guy?
I'll be the guy, you know, I'll be the guy to keep track of you. And it won't cost you $100,000, or give me the $100,000, you know, I'll make sure you never take a step on the field, you know. I think part of it we were talking about it. I was talking about with Louis Lips today, about the Tomlin's Act, you know, and I like Mike, and Mike's, you know, and Mike's been a good coach, but I think this is that Mike is a fan, you know, and you can't be a fan when you're a head coach. You can't be watching the jumbo screen or doing things like this. You know, we revert back to Chuck. Chuck was fanatic about not being on the field. I mean, he would turn around in that stary look and move it back, get it back, you know, one way or the other, and continuously remind us, you know, not to be on the field. Now, Chuck would never be watching a jumbotron, you know, like what is happening here, you know, and be on the field. And so I think that in some regards, young coaches today, like Mike Tomlin, you know, I mean, you have an offensive coordinator, you have a defensive coordinator, you have your assistant coaches. What do? You watch the game, and you're a fan. So you're going, oh, what's happening here? And all of a sudden you find yourself, you know, on the field watching the jumbotron. You know, God, and I think that's a change or a difference, because you're not calling the plays, you're not sending in the offensive plays or conferring with the defensive guys about, you know, what's the coverage here. You know, you kind of, during the game, you kind of become a fan. You pat the guys on the back when they come off, or you shake your finger at them when they're not doing well.
Right.
And so I think that Mike caught himself as being a fan and watching what's happening like everyone else on that afternoon. But I do agree with you with this, is that, you know, okay, he got fined, you know, got his finger shaking at him, you know, don't be doing this. But, you know, to lose a draft choice is if it comes down to that, is protestable on my part. Is that should not be, and that would be a disservice to the Steelers and their organization, because it wasn't as if he tripped the guy or he ran into him, you know.
Came close.
And, well, or that he would have even scored. You know, I don't give him that much credit that he had, you know, would have made it to a score if Tomlin wasn't on the sideline. So I just think that you're right. I don't think that it should they lose a draft choice over that.
Right. Well, a draft choice, a loss of a draft choice could set a team back. You know, I mean, you know, if you're talking about a 7th round draft choice or a 6th round draft choice, okay, then, you know, the price isn't steep. But if you're looking at a mid-round draft pick, now that could have repercussion for years.
For years, you know, it could. I mean, it's where you build your team, or hopefully you build your team, you know, on those picks.
Right.
So, anyway, but that's my feeling about what had just taken place. But good comments on Wallace coming in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to believe that I don't like guys who proclaim to be, great. Greatness is achieved, on the field, not in the media. And two, you got to believe he's going to hear it from Steeler fans when when the game kicks off.
Well, let us just hope at this, that our illustrious cornerbacks are up for the task of being able to shut them down. I don't want William Gay to be, looking all over saying, well, what's the defense or what's happening here? So
yeah, we don't want William Gay lining up across the field from too many people. And Mike Wallace certainly isn't one of them.
That's right. You're right. Who is that just flew by me? Anyway, so we would like them all to have a good game and be able to stop them.
Well, you got to believe Ike Taylor's going to be on him no matter where he goes, and you also think that Clark is going to cover over top.
Well, that's right. And hopefully, you got Ryan and you got Ike Taylor, but I got a lot of confidence in those guys. But the last couple of weeks, it's like, okay, who is not covering who and who missed what? There was a couple of questions. And unfortunately for Ike, he was in the vicinity, so he gets the finger pointed at, it's his fault. And I understand enough that, there's some other support mechanisms and some other coverages that need to be, filled. I can't cover everybody at the same time. It makes him look like that. But if you're in that position, you're going to get pointed at and you're going to get, taking the blame for that catch or the yardage that has been gained and so on. So, if the defense gets their signals together and, if Troy keeps it under control, and doesn't go blasting off on his own somewhere, thinking that he can do something, then they should be able to, take care of Wallace and company, to the best of their ability.
So when you assess, some of the things you allude to, when you assess how the Steelers defense has played this year, the offense is a whole another can of worms, but the defense and Troy and where they're at, is this a defense that can put it together and where the season's over for all intents and purposes at this point, unless some miracle run happens. But is this a defense that can come back, or do they really got to look at it and go, you know what, these guys have all seen better days. We got a couple of building blocks here, and there are, and those decisions are tough decisions to make. And I think there are some questions about that. I don't want to point. Well, anyway, Brett Kiesel's been around, and he's been hurt, and Brett's been a big part of that defensive line from a leadership role, but he's going to have to, this might be his last season. And everybody loves Troy. Everybody loves Troy. But Troy's had his injuries, and he's not as effective as he was being in the, what position, like the renegade, position, the freelance linebacker / secondary strong safety cover / wild man, and so it just hasn't been that effective, and so this is his 10th, 11th season, right? 10th year,
yeah, right. So and so you got to start thinking about, okay, who's going to take place? And Ryan Clark is 11 years, I think, and so it's not that. And Ryan's had a great season. I'm not taking anything away from him. It's just that they're just getting older in that defense. And I'm not saying that there's anybody coming up to really take the place of that defense. And
right.
So the other thing is, okay, how long? It'll be interesting in the change. Do you think that let me see? It's one injury to my head too often is defense coordinator, please.
Dick LeBeau.
Yeah, Dick LeBeau. Okay, fine. So Dick. So how long is Dick going to be? Dick's 76 years old. 75.
76. Yeah. 76.
76. 76.
Yeah.
And he's a great coach. So if Dick decides to retire this off season, that's going to change that whole defense, and it's going to change your belief, and it's going to change credibility and of whoever takes over. And so and so Dick has that with his players, although he can't, and I think that they've been doing as best as they can defensively. They could have done better, but defensively, with the talent that they have and the injuries that they've had to work around, to be able to be in the position that they are. In this league, and I say in this league, even as offensive oriented as it is, it's still the defense. The defense be able to, stop the opponent, be able to cut down the receiving yards and or stop the run, whatever that may. It's the defense that sets the tone. And they always believe this, that they can keep their opponent under 17 points.
Right. That
they'll win the game. And they've been around that. Offensively, obviously, we've got our own problems there, just within the injuries that have taken place and the substitutions and people working together. We had it going for a while, and we could get a couple more injuries. And so we got an erratic running game because of that. Pass protection because of playing with injuries hasn't been the best. But yet we've been in the games. We've been in, as a Steelers fan, we waited till the fourth quarter at times, to come back. Even last week's Baltimore game, that was an exciting game for a fan perspective, not necessarily a Steeler fan perspective.
Right.
But we got to the point where you could tie it, you could go for the 2 points. And that's a position that you want to be in, and you got to make that catch, and you got to make those points. And we haven't been able to do that consistently over the years, although we're in that position. So it's not as if we've dominated. It's not as if it's been a kind of we can come back and do it. It's like, like glue and tape, and, we finally get there, and, it's got a potential. We get a big play, and we bring it up, and sometimes we fall short, as we have too many cases. But so let us just, here's a couple things. Let's take a look at character. Let's take a look at the character of the team. In all aspects, if they end up 9-7,
win out,
they got a chance, huh? They got to win out. They got to win out. They got to win out. Can they win out? Yes, they can win out. I think they got the capability of being able to win out. If they can win out, they got a chance to be a wild card. They got a chance to be a wild card, but but it's in their hands. They have to do it. So it'll be interesting to see if they step up to reach that challenge or to meet that challenge. They have the capability of doing it. As we play Cincinnati and Cleveland again, and we need to beat. Actually, we need to beat them, as we well know. And so if they can do that, that'll be a miracle. But,
You're being
miracles happen. Miracles happen. We saw it last week with Auburn. Miracles happen. Anything can happen in this silly game.
So, Rock, the show is being broadcast now on the Armed Forces Radio Network.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations, guys.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. You did.
I know you're on your website on RockyBleier.com. You're got a kind of holiday promotion, if you will, with your book Fighting Back, and with proceeds going to neverforgetvets.org. Talk to our listeners about that.
I'm glad you brought that up because I would have forgotten. The Christmas promotion. Oh man, Gloria, my assistant, will take me to task if I didn't mention this. Yes, we do. We do. Have we do have a Christmas promotion. So if you go to RockyBleier.com, as you had mentioned, Chris, and you'll click, all you have to do is click on the promotion, and it's right there. But it's my book and an autographed copy of my book, and the proceeds are going to veterans' causes, and in this case specifically to the Veterans Leadership Program. That is so essential for our returning troops, and to be able to give them the transitional capability coming back and dealing with at times the leaving of the service and or making the adjustments of coming back to their family life after they've been overseas or on deployment. And in some place. And so it's dear to my heart, and as all veteran movements are. And so I wanted to do something for this Christmas promotion. And, and the book Fighting Back is a story of my life and overcoming those obstacles and being in Vietnam and what it was like, and playing with the Steelers during that period of time, and obviously winning the Super Bowls. So we just wanted to make that an offer, and I do appreciate you giving me the chance to make that pitch and have your listeners, if they like the last minute Christmas present, and to someone that they can get that done. They go to rockybleier.com and they'll see the banner and click on it. So right. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It won't be last minute, Rocky, because everybody still has plenty of time. They'll go out the day before, do a little online shopping. So we got plenty of time, right? Plenty of time to get a signed Rocky book.
That'll be plenty. That's right, because it'll be like the week before. Oh yeah, geez, maybe we can get that. Can I get it? Yeah.
Can I get it
tomorrow? Personally. Pardon? Yeah, can I get it tomorrow? Yeah, if I can get it there, I'll fly it there personally, but it might cost you like $1,000. But anyway, you'll get it.
Worth every time, Rocky.
$1,000 for a hand-delivered by Rocky Bleier autograph book. Now that could be a heck of a
that could be it. We're gonna I'll stop over. We can have a Christmas party. Give me a little toddy.
Right.
It's true. We'll sing some carols. We'll sing some carols, and I'll deliver the books.
I know what I want for Christmas now. I know my parents are listening, so now you know what to get me for Christmas.
I know what to get you for Christmas.
Get ready to fly to Georgia, Rocky.
I just came from there.
You're going back.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm going back. Yeah, that's right. So, yes, I was there today. But anyway, and so now I'm back here.
All right. So, Rock, right. One more thing before we let you go, and we had LC Greenwood on the show about three times in the last 18 months, and we become friends with LC, and it's torn both of us up that he's no longer with us. I'll carry his distinctive laugh in the corners of my mind forever.
Forever.
But I just wanted to get a thought from you on LC.
LC, was LC, obviously, for those, listeners who are on Steeler fans, LC was, one of the four members of the Steel Curtain.
Right.
Came out of small college, Arkansas A&M, in a big, lanky, I think he was 11th round pick, big, lanky defensive player. And I fit in well with what we were trying to accomplish at that time and as a defensive end. But you've got this deep laugh that you will, and very distinctive kind of he and a great leader in the locker room. Actually, one of my favorite stories is that LC's nickname for me. LC, nicknames are great things that you have in locker rooms. You grow up in the neighborhood, with nicknames. Everybody has a nickname, whether it be, a pronunciation of your name or a physical feature that you might have that people like to point out and you carry it for the rest of your life, or something that you did that people remember, and LC's nickname here was Hollywood Bags. We always call him, Hollywood Bags, because his bags were always packed because he wanted to go to Hollywood. At one time he wanted to play for the Rams. And so it was just one of those things that, it became bags, just all the way shortened. So mine was the Juice. So he'd always call me Juice, the Juice. And that had taken place back in 1973, actually. Just a little story on the side. We were playing a playoff game, and it was against the Buffalo Bills, and they had O.J. Simpson.
Right.
And all the press was about O.J. Simpson. All the press was about O.J. and what he'd done. He'd run for 2,000 yards. And he was a dominant player. They got the Bills into the playoff. And so how are you going to stop O.J. Simpson? How are you going to stop the Juice to come in? And so LC said, hey, they may have O.J., but we have our own Juice. Rocky Bleier. Prune Juice. Slow and steady. And that was it. So from then I was on Prune Juice. It was juice, and there was juice, and so all because of LC. And yeah, what a great guy, and we do miss him, and because he was such a big part of this team and community. Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you for sharing that story, Rock. It's always a privilege having you on the show. We can't thank you enough for continuing to come back. We hope you'll continue to do so periodically.
I do very much.
Hey, you are the best storyteller on the planet.
Well, thank you. I thank you, and thanks for reminding me of the plug too, just for the Christmas holidays. Well, RockyBleier.com. Go and get my book, and make it a present for somebody. And we'll send it out to you, and we'll make sure you get it before Christmas. Okay. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Angela.
All right. Take care, Rock.
All right. Bye-bye.
Always the best, Ed. Always the best storyteller. No question. Love Rock.
Oh, he never runs out. I think one of these times he's going to run out, and he just never does.
No, absolutely does not.